Hello, and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where today we are once again untethered from the podcast. No, wait, we are untethered from reality. Yeah.
But severely tethered to the podcast.
Yeah, because I have a cord right here that is tethering to my computer so I can be on the podcast.
And I do as well.
Yeah, and not Josh has one too.
Wow.
Oh, but so by the way, I'm not Brad and that's not Josh. And together we are the same.
And last night I did not catch a shark, and
that actually is true. Actually, it was early this morning. But yeah.
that is true as well. Yes, but I was a heck of a minnow catcher. I will say I don't think anybody.
As well as swearies.
Yes, the swearies.
You've got a lot of minnows and swearies.
That's true.
And this all happened because today is your birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday to me.
So, you are now 97 years old, right?
Oh, no, that was my last birthday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think I passed 100 this week.
Okay. So, yeah, obviously one of our highlights for the day is going to be celebrating Brad's birthday, which we did via Real VR Fishing last night with me, Brad, and Michael, who was an early part of the podcast in the first, 5 episodes?
Mm-hmm. Something like that. But it was a lot of fun fishing last night. It's looking great on the Quest 2. It is the most photorealistic game out there, I think.
Yeah. I mean, as I was mentioning in the game last night, not even modded Skyrim does water as good as this game does.
I know. I am still in a state of shock at the way that they do water. It's discovered that nobody else did. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Now, I do have to say, in that last area we were in after you couldn't join anymore, it was a stormy ocean front beach thing. Mm-hmm. I did see some issues with the water where I could see a little bit of how the magic was working. but almost every other level, you can't tell how the magic is working. It just looks like water should look.
I know. And you know the way every other person who uses water has defined lines when the water comes against the shoreline and stuff, and this doesn't. This is just like water. It's just
right.
I don't know how they did the physics on it. I don't know how they got the light to refract so perfectly.
Right. So yeah, and it's a lot of fun when you accidentally hook a tiger shark and then have to do an epic battle to reel it in.
No more fun than grabbing that big minnow and doing that epic battle to get that minnow.
I know. Yeah. He got a lot of minnows.
I did. But I was catching a lot of fish. I was probably doing 3-1 to you guys, but
Yeah, well, especially compared to Michael, because he was doing it in expert mode, which is immersive, no HUD, so he couldn't even see where the fish were. So he had to do it the old-fashioned way and just cast the line. Wait, okay, reel it in, cast it again. Wait, okay, reel it in, cast it again.
I know.
You and I were using the special glasses that let us see where the fish were, and we could cast the line to where the fish were.
Right, exactly. It was amazing. You cast your line, 30 seconds later, you're reeling in something. And Mike, he's sitting there, and 15 minutes later, it's like, Put the glasses on.
Caught a fish in 15 minutes, guys. But he gets 15 times the XP for the fish that he catches that way.
Well, you would want to give them something for having to suffer like that through a game. Right. But it is a great game, I will say. Yeah. I had a lot of fun. And for friends that want to just hang out and be able to talk and do something that's semi-realistic, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I would ask the devs is please consider adding offhand locomotion, because that's so much more natural than locomoting with the same hand that you are interacting with the menus and whatnot with. It,
right.
Like, why even bother having another hand there? Just leave that controller on the other side of the room and do everything one-handed.
Yeah.
Because they have a one-handed mode. So.
Well, that might be why. I mean, they might have to give you that type of play on both in order to be able to have the one-handed mode work well. I don't.
Either way, I'm so used to locomoting with my left hand in every other game that it feels weird, and I'm used to being able to forward, back, straight for left and right with my left, and then turn with the right. So when I want to just jog over just a little bit in real VR fishing, I've got to turn, move forward, turn back.
Yeah, I know.
I can't just go and take a sidestep unless I do it in reality. But
yeah, it was but it was fun. It was fun.
That's only a minor issue, really.
Right. I guess the big part is that we were in there for a few hours, and the time went by like no time, really.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And you got to hear my son wish you a happy birthday.
That was a biggie. That was a plus. I think at 3 minutes after 12, he was my first official happy birthday, I think.
Yep. So. All right, so that was a shared highlight. I don't know if you have any non-shared highlights that you want to now share.
Non-shared highlights. Oh wow. Well, this week, I mean, I've talked about it over the last several weeks in the augmented reality game over here, and this week I got my iPad Pro 12.9 M1 1 TB, 16 gigs of RAM.
That's a terrible name for a product.
Not only is it a terrible name for a product, it's still everybody's trying to figure out why they packed the same guts as the MacBook Pro into this thing and built an operating system where we're basically putting jet engines on a Kia. So,
well, because they're getting ready to take the Kia part and turn it into a Mazda.
Well,
a jet.
I was going to say I'd rather go Maserati first, but I don't know if you're aware, and this was my highlight, but this will be the Apple part of the show for the augmented reality, is that if anybody watched the Worldwide Developer Conference, Apple is now going with iOS 14 point blah, 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 and they're about to introduce 15.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, right. However, this will be the first time in Apple history that you will be able to choose to continue down the 14 route or transfer to the 15.
So they're forking?
They're forking. And the reason they're forking is because...
I thought that was one thing that they always panned Android for.
Correct. They are. They are very... I have to say, they are the most schizophrenic company. I do not understand their entire marketing, which is like, buy this amazing new product because the next one is coming out in 3 months that's going to blow this one away. And I'm just like, what is my motivation for picking up this semi-developed product when you're announcing the fully developed product?
Right.
In such a short...
Your motivation is, I obey.
Yeah. Apple world is weird. Now, that being said, their dedication to augmented reality is, without a doubt, completely unflagging. It is.
Yeah.
My biggest problem in a logical, intellectual basis is if Apple is so far advanced in augmented reality, Why is the military using Microsoft to develop the augmented reality headsets for the military?
'Cause probably because they already had a contract with them, and they already have something out there. Apple does not yet have something out there.
Well, in actuality, Apple does have several things out there. They're just being tried out by different people around the world.
Right, but Microsoft has the HoloLens that has actually been out, and they've got it, and they managed to win the, the contract. I don't know. I mean, I would imagine Apple probably applied for the contract. I don't see why said they wouldn't, but maybe Microsoft outbid them on how low they could do it for.
Well, that's what you want the military to function on. Let's get the cheapest piece of equipment we can.
Okay.
It makes sense to me. Um, but yeah, so to me, it's kind of very strange that we're counting on Apple to bring us into the augmented reality world where the military is already there and in Microsoft land. So
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out what's going on here.
Well, Microsoft also isn't yet doing a whole lot with it on the consumer side.
Correct.
Apple is probably looking at that market because Microsoft has the military market. So if Apple gets the consumer market, that really just as much money overall, if not maybe a little bit more,
True.
So.
True. And I also have a little different take on what's going on with the ads, or are we going to get into that later with the OZ?
Yeah, well, that's in the news section, yeah.
Okay.
I have it just labeled ads.
Yeah, I was sort of wondering, like, ads? Okay. I think we've got enough feedback on that in the last hour and a half that Facebook should be able to make their decision there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll get into it later, but I kind of have a dissenting opinion from some people, while also having concerns.
Right. Which we'll get into, I guess, after we hit your highlights, which included catching a shark this morning.
Yeah. Last morning. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Michael had encountered a shark, but it broke his line and it got away. So we were hoping for another shark, and so kept going, and eventually I got a shark, and it was a very long and epic battle. It was like, in reality, it was probably like 3 minutes as opposed to the normal 1 minute of the normal strong fish, but when I landed it, it was so heavy that even in the game, I couldn't pick it up and hold it by the
wow,
by the mouth or whatever, because it was like 20 feet long or something like that, or
I know I jumped in at one point. I kept getting bumped out of the server, but at one point there was this giant fish at my feet. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah. Michael caught a yellowtail amberfish, which is another huge fish, according to Real VR Fishing. It's classified as a huge fish. So
it was. All of a sudden, I'm standing
there.
It
was also lying on the beach because it was too heavy for him to hold and too big for him to hold. So.
Right. That was great. So anyway, I guess our word of the day is if you guys have forgotten how good real VR fishing is, you should jump back in there, especially with friends. Really.
Yeah. And if you get a chance to try to catch a shark, you will understand why there is always that epic music playing when you are catching a fish. It makes sense when you are trying to catch a shark.
I heard it when I was catching the minnow.
That was just preview for catching something like a shark.
Right. Oh, here comes the Tweary. Dum 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 dum.
Yes, that's weird. More like.
Still a little deep, but okay. The only way you could tell the difference between the Sweary and the Minnow was because it said Sweary as opposed to Minnow.
Okay. So yeah, so that took care of another highlight of mine. Another highlight of mine is I've been going through more of the Steam Next games, and one that I put up a video on that is um, it's interesting. It's a good puzzle game. I think is a unique take on the idea of guiding the metal hoop around the metal path without touching anything. It's kind of a unique to take on that makes it both more fun and actually more challenging. It's called Squingle, Squingle, Squingle. Completely not a made-up word.
Completely.
Actually, it probably is a made-up word, yeah. But so this part's going to sound a little gross. My wife and my son both thought that the puzzle areas looked like intestines because it's these kind of very translucent tubes that are kind of shimmering iridescent colors, and they're twisted and whatnot. So
looping intestines. Gotcha.
Yeah, and you have an orb that you are guiding with one hand or the other hand, it doesn't matter which one, and you have to get it through the pathway to the goal. It starts off easy. You have one orb and a fairly simple path to the goal. Just need to go up, right, come this way, go that way, go around a small spiral, boom, But then it gets more complicated. And the path becomes more twisty. It's got bigger areas and it's got smaller areas, and it's got a branching path where okay, it's the fastest way going left here or right here, or and then later on you get 2 orbs. It's not that you are now using 2 hands at the same time. No, there are 2 orbs that are revolving around a center point. So they are revolving at a certain speed, and they are going. I believe it starts off going in a clockwise direction, and then you have to navigate through the maze. And just like in the hoop and wire thing, you can't touch the sides of the maze because that counts against you, and if you touch too much, you lose. There are checkpoints within there, and there are power-up kind of things that are more like switches that will reverse the direction of the spinning of the orbs. One of them also reverses the plane that the orbs are rotating on. So initially they're rotating vertically, but if you do this one, now they're rotating horizontally.
Gotcha.
Because that's needed on some of the levels, and there also is introduced obstacles that move in and out of the path, that if you bump into them, it'll block you or it'll take a hit point away or whatever. So, but overall, it's a very fun game. It's one of those ones where you get the 1, 2, 3 stars at the end of the level, and you can replay or move to the next one, or it's a standard casual game format there.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I have no clue what the final price is going to be, but you unlock different game modes as well, so you can go back and replay everything on double speed, which would mean that the rotating orbs, instead of rotating like this, are going to be rotating like this, making it harder.
So you better like the game. In other words, it does
Yeah.
increase in difficulty, but it's the same game, just increasing difficulty.
And there's a quote-unquote trippy replay mode, which is evidently a first-person replay mode.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure how that works because I didn't try that out, but I may try that out later. I don't know.
Okay.
Another game that I tried, and I don't have a video up for yet, but I will sometime later in the next few days, is Iron Rebellion. This is a mech combat game, kind of like Vox Machina, but instead of, and I don't know if this is just the demo environment or not, and if they plan on introducing more open world ones, but instead of being out in a big open planetary environment, it's in like a little industrial spot. And all that it's got right now is a wave shooter mechanic, basically, and a tutorial. But you have the standard, the simulated protest style thing, you know, locked in place, you turn, you move, you know.
Right.
And the only drawback that I have with the controls is that you have to click in on the thumbstick, on the right thumbstick, and then pull it down to reload. If you want to switch between left weapons and right arm weapons, click in, go left, click in, go right, or if you want to use both, click in, go up. The stick is not used for anything else. It should be just move the stick in the direction that you have the action that you want to do.
Eventually, that will take wear and tear on the stick, right? That seems like unnecessary wear and tear.
Right. So, but outside of that, it was really fun. Unlike most other mech games, this is not a slow moving mech. This is a much faster mech.
Okay, well, that should make it a little more exciting.
And the turning speed is potentially too fast for people that are prone to motion sickness, I feel. I mean, I love it that fast, but I don't know how well that'll work for people like you that are more prone to that. You know?
Right. Exactly.
So, but it's like in Vox Machina, the turning speed is like about that. In this, you can turn like this.
Right, which is like not really very realistic for a mech, but you know. Okay.
Well, it's a futuristic mech. I mean, even more futuristic than the regular futuristic mechs. Advanced futuristic. But yeah, that's another one that I am looking forward to. It just looks like it's got potential. It's going to be a co-op game. I don't know how much it's going to cost at this point, but
none of us do.
Yeah,
seriously.
It looks like it's one you should probably keep your eyes on if you like mech games. So,
which we do not have many of on this platform.
Well, this is for Steam, but you know, still. So, moving on to new releases. We have Eternal Starlight, which released, which is a real-time space strategy game. I don't know that there's anything truly unique or unusual about it that makes it stand out from other real-time strategy games. I have not played it. It looks it looks well made. I saw a video from Buzz the Ambassador, who, no offense to him, sounds like he's too young to be playing some kinds of games.
Yes.
But he did a good job showcasing it, I think, and it looks like a fun game if you are into real-time strategy games. So,
well,
which I kind of sort of am, but I never end up playing them enough.
Well, it depends on who you're playing against. Right. It depends on how interesting the different strategy. If you play with the same person all the time, it's always the same strategy. So
right, and if you're always only playing against the AI, that's not as fun as playing against a real person.
Right, but it's the thing is, like I had said, I think last week we talked about the RTSs, and everybody gave this one a very good review. I will say it's rated up there like at 4.7 or 4.8. I think at this point. So
like I was mentioning, it looks like it's really it's a good game if you're into this kind of game.
Right.
Me personally, I like this kind of game, but it's one that I don't end up playing a lot of.
Right. This would be the type
so it just doesn't keep me coming back to it over and over again.
Understood. I can understand that, but I would like to play it. It's
yeah. So, and of course we have Larcenauts that got released, a game that no one has ever heard of.
Oh man,
this is from Impulse Gear, who brought you Farpoint on the PlayStation VR. This is their new title, Larcenauts, and according to them, the name Larcenauts is because it's larceny, and the knot part means travel or traveler, so they are traveling thieves.
Just like gypsies, tramps, and thieves. So.
Something like that, yes.
That would have been.
Yeah, so this is a hero shooter or a MOBA style game. It's got 3 game modes: Refuel, Capture the Flag, and of course, Team Deathmatch. Team Refuel is basically capture and hold.
I was going to say
the 3 objectives. They're just calling it that, keeping it in theme with what their theme is, which is your ship is stranded and needs to be refueled, and you are fighting a competing team whose ship is also stranded and needs to be refueled.
How ironic, huh?
So, and the capture the flag one is the most unique version of capture the flag in VR that I've seen so far. You have to carry a drone back to your capture point so that Jane Lynch can upload all the data off of it. And you can throw the drone to another player, make it pass. So it's like football,
right,
or rugby, or or something.
It is kind of weird, I have to say. The gameplay does look interesting, and
and evidently, when you get to your capture point for it, and the data has been uploaded, you have to hold it in the capture area while it's being uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
But 30 seconds after the capture is initiated, it blows up. So you don't want to be holding it when it blows up.
Probably not.
So it's like 27, 28, 29.
Well, why not? Seriously, why
not? There were some issues with the game that you may have heard of. One is when you are sprinting, there's an automated animation going on, and it takes half a second for it to stop when you stop, so you can't immediately pull your gun up and start shooting. They have officially added in the immersive sprint, which gets rid of that animation, so that addresses that issue at least a little bit. There are some other issues I have heard of as well, which is that when you are two-handing a weapon, this is just there for support and recoil purposes. You can't do this and aim with it. All the aiming is still done with your dominant hand, which that's something to get used to, I guess, and maybe they'll address that in a future update. And I've also heard that the dash feature can get you stuck sometimes in geometry and whatnot. So,
Yeah, it seems like it needs more work. Some people said early access, some people said pre-alpha, other people said no, the game is a lot of fun, it just needs a few tweaks. So,
and Michael, all off in the corner by himself, said it's the best game ever. It's perfect as is.
I know. It's just we need to give him a week to get it out of his system to find out whether or not it really is a great game. It's like every new game is a great game for a week. So
true, except for VR carts.
VR carts wasn't even good for a minute. So, still trying to figure out how that one made it from the Go to the Quest. Still trying to figure that one out.
I don't know. It met all of the technical requirements.
Okay.
So, and last but not, well, not actually last, but last in our list right here, we have Contra cards from our own RJ Does VR.
Hey, RJ.
It's on App Lab. It's a side project that he whipped up. Basically, a trading card game in VR. So he used Michael extensively as the demonstration of how to lose. Nah. To help him to test it and help him to do all the videos for it. And it looks like it's a fun game, and I wish it well. It is currently free. I don't know if I don't think he has indicated that he has plans on making it not free. I think it's probably going to stay free because it's a side project, not a main project. So.
Right. It looked pretty interesting that the cards actually bring a creature to life to fight with the other creature or whatever. It seems like it could be something fun.
Yeah. And I had a complete brain fart on if there were any upcoming titles next week. I think there probably are, but I couldn't remember what they were, and I couldn't locate any reference to them offhand. If you have any...
I know there was something on the 27th.
Oh, well, so that's after next week, though.
Okay. In between now and then, I don't remember seeing anything on the official list of releases, but that doesn't mean that App Lab or SideQuest won't come out with 10 things this week. So.
Right. They may come out with 10 things 5 minutes after we stop recording.
I know. In which case, yeah, it's kind of tough to keep track of what's new and what's not new. But I will try Contra cards. I would love to try that.
Yep, I've got that queued up to be installed on my Quest 2. So, or on my Quest 2.
Two.
So, let's move on to news. That came out wrong. Let's move on to news. Not nudes, but news.
Wait, okay, girls, leave. You have to be more clear when we get the show started.
Yeah. So, we have some rumors about something involving ads.
Ooh, yeah, I did hear something about that. I did. I remember, and something
Yeah.
about Blaston.
Baston.
Blaston. Blaston is about to be blast off. I mean,
No. Yeah. Okay. For
it was
those who
just
have been deliberately living under rocks.
really. I mean, seriously, do we have to explain this now?
Yeah. Facebook announced they are going to be testing ads in a very limited fashion. First in Blaston, and then two other as yet unnamed apps or whatever. I have to say that I'm a little bit surprised that they're going with Blaston when they have in-house studios that they own. You know,
Well, they don't want to
like
ruin
why
their
don't
own
they
game
you should test it Beat Saber, or,
because they don't want to ruin the sales of their own game. They would rather ruin the sales of some other company's game. And that was really a dumb maneuver. I mean, really, the way they've introduced this is just
Well,
plain.
I, I, I mean, we all knew they were going to be wanting to monetize and bring ads in somehow, because ultimately that's what Facebook is. It's an ad company, just like Google is, you know. And if Google had found a way to put ads in such a Daydream, it probably would have.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah,
never said that Google wouldn't.
yeah, and um, my problem is not so much that there might be ads. Is how is how are they going to handle the tracking that they like to do with the ads in order to make them personalized? Um, because they are, as far as I can tell, doing their best to limit tracking and whatnot in the VR, so that they are abiding by the privacy concerns, but they still, they've still got to be able to track something in order to have a personalized ad. Um, and my other concern is, while I don't mind the idea if it's done in a diegetic way, that means it's fitting in with the world. Um, Mobile ads started out as okay, then they got horrible.
Right.
So that's something that they would need to keep a very tight grip on, so that it doesn't go that route. Yeah.
Well, from what I saw, from what they're doing in Blast Song, because obviously I haven't seen it yet,
Right.
it looks like the flags on, excuse me, where the people sit will be the actual advertisement. Sort of
Right.
like watching baseball or
Right.
seeing it
Right.
on the backboard,
Right.
which I don't have a problem with that per se if it's there before the game starts. Like you're saying,
Right.
when you play a racing game and you see something for Pennzoil on a a billboard, that's
Right.
fine. I have no
Right.
problem with that.
Right.
But if you're going to be taking money from sponsors, at that point there has to either be a reduction in the price of the game,
Yes.
or Facebook has to give up their 30% in
Well,
order.
they're not taking 30%. I read they're doing 97% of the ad revenue right now.
Well, that's what I
So
was
3% to the devs or whatever.
to kill their game, right? Kill
Yeah.
your game for three, which is insanity, absolute
Right.
insanity.
So, I mean, this is early testing. We don't actually know how it's going to fully play out. This is just testing the water, trying to figure out what might work, what might not work. I get that they have to do that, and I also get that there's a lot of people that are upset about it. I also get that there are people like me that are like, hey, if I go to a hockey game, there are ads plastered around the rink. There are ads up on all of the LCD reader boards all around the rink. There are ads up on the big screen, you know.
This is an
So,
advertised-based country.
so if I'm in a VR hockey game, seeing 3 or 4 ads on the rink that are static ads, I have no problem with that. That's a lot better than the reality of you know static ads and the moving ads
Right.
and the ads coming over to the loudspeakers where the announcers go, "Feeling thirsty? Try it." You know.
Right, I know. You just don't know where they'll stop. That's the
Right.
problem.
Right. Right.
So,
So I can understand the trepidation about it. What I don't understand or agree with is the immediate reaction that some people have had of, well, I guess I need to throw away my Quest 2 now. It'll just collect dust. No, because for right now, ads are not in there. And it's looking like, and things could change, but it's looking like it's probably going to be per studio if they want ads in their game or not.
right.
Just like on iPhone, just like on Android, um, the individual developer gets to choose if it's a paid app, if it's a free app. Is it a free app with ads? Is it a free app without ads? You know, they
Right.
can choose all that. So if you want to vote with your money or whatever, then vote with your money by not buying the games that have ads in them.
Well, that's what just happened with Blaston, which is
Yes, but at
now,
the same time, that was the other thing I was gonna say. I kind of don't understand and disagree with is the review bombing of them for agreeing to help Facebook test. This does not, in my mind, it does not necessarily indicate a commitment that they are going to have ads. It's just they are helping them test. Now, maybe they're getting an incentive for helping them test.
I'm sure of it.
You know, I don't know, but there's nothing wrong with helping them test. You know, and I mean, honestly, resolution games is one that a lot of their games are kind of hyper casual. And so could very well be they are looking at in the future going the free with ads route. And they're just testing in an existing title, but they're not going to use it in that existing title.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
don't
I
know.
mean,
I'm just
very,
speculating.
very
Obviously, you
honestly,
know.
I know, but very honestly, they've obviously gotten the immediate reaction, which is we don't like it.
Right.
And then the second reaction is going to be, how much further are you going to take it, even if we don't like it, because it doesn't seem like you've stopped doing anything we didn't like to begin with.
Right.
And the other thing would be, I agree with you about the free game if they're going to put in the ads. At least introduce it as a free game, and then if you want to upgrade or as a demo, however you want to do it. And that's what I'm reading is people are taking it out on Resolution Games right now,
Right.
not because of Resolution Games, but in order to let Facebook know we hate you. We hate the ads, and
Right.
we're going to destroy any developer that tries to go this route without
Right.
giving us the benefit of their winning their money from their sponsor. So
Right.
either Facebook or the sponsor or the developer would then have to compensate the customer by a lower price, a free DLC, whatever.
Well, If I remember right, Blaston has been, or well, Resolution Games technically, has been offering people, hey, if you would like a refund of the game as a result of this, or this or that, or
No,
whatever, I thought I saw something like that.
no, that's not what they're doing. Is they're saying go to Oculus and get your
Ah,
30% back, get your money back from them. See how they
well,
like it.
um,
One person got their money back. One person got a
yeah, I mean, if you've already gone past that 2 hour,
Oh
14
no,
day
he
thing, no,
he was he was already months past.
yeah,
But the whole point is that they've changed the game.
yeah,
You know,
true.
so it's
True,
like, okay, now
but
you're changing it.
is it in the live version of Blaston, or is it only in an internal testing version of it?
No, it's in the live version,
Okay,
which is at that point, once it went into the live version, it was up to Facebook to send out to anybody who would purchase Blastone a 30% discount, a 50%, whatever it
okay,
was for our participation in their test. You
right.
know, it's like, what do you mean you're going to take 97% of the revenue and you're going
I
to
know,
ask us how we like it? We already told you we don't.
right. Well,
So,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's very controversial right now. It's got a lot of. I mean, when I was doing the show notes for this episode before starting recording, I was like, add. Okay, scroll again. Add. Everything was about the Facebook ad and
right,
passed on.
but how long is it going to be before you go into Pop One and the gas station is Exxon and the guy has a little, the jackets have logos like in racing, all of a sudden it's Burger King and
Right. Well,
Pennzoil, you know.
I, at the same time, what I was going to point out, this is just something that I thought before the show is VR chat already has this to an extent. There are actual ads in VR chat that if you to click on them, they open up a browser window and let you buy something. There are actual stores in VR chat that let you buy real things. And yes, I get VR chat is not the same as the Blast On game or Hip Hop One or whatever. But the idea is that they have this and it's working for them. And in the right app, in the right title, and done in the right way, it could work.
Oh, I'm
Done in
not
the wrong
saying no.
way, it won't work.
The wrong way is to do it like they're doing, which is retroactive in games that are already out there. That's the
Right.
wrong.
Well,
If you
yeah, yeah. But, it's like, I don't know. I mean, they've got to test just somehow, and they do want to get live feedback by actually observing reactions, by seeing who clicks to open, who clicks to remove, who clicks to report, rather than just going by the vocal.
Minor.
Is it a minority? Is it a majority? We don't really know. You
Ever
know, you
ever
know what I
since
mean?
but we do. We know that ever since
Well,
Facebook bought Oculus, people have been suspicious. So,
right,
this is just another way of.
but I think still the majority of people that own Blaston and the majority of people that own a Quest 2 have not tweeted or Facebooked anything about it. So they, will get valuable input from those who play Blaston on seeing the aggregated interaction data with the ad.
Right.
That's going to give them a more accurate idea than just looking at the Twitter feed, which will also give them an idea too. But that's I don't know what the percentage of the Blackstone players it is. So some of the people complaining about it probably don't even own Blackstone. And they're just complaining about the idea. So they've got to take all that into consideration. So I can understand, they want to test in a live game, and for whatever reason, resolution games and Blast On is what they got.
Once again,
why they're doing it in that one as opposed to finding someone that has the popular free one, I don't know. But
I don't know.
It is what it is. We will see how it plays out. But
I would have rather seen them revive a dead game like Heroes or some other game that we could have played, and just they already knew it was a popular game, and they could have revived it, thrown the ads in, put it up for free for a while.
See how it Dead Buried too.
Well, Dead and Buried 2 became so much, once again, a Solaris thing. If you let a game rot for 6 to 8 months, it's going to take a long time for it to come back out of the Zombieville.
Right.
So
yeah. Anyways, we need to move on because we are now 51 minutes into the show. See? I told you a lot of the stuff would be taking up a lot of time.
I don't think we've ever run into the problem of actually having to stretch the show.
No. So let's talk a little bit about version 3. It's bringing some cool updates, including Airlink to the original Oculus Quest,
which is pretty cool.
That's the biggest and the coolest update, I think.
Yeah.
No longer will you have to jerry-rig things to get it to work.
Exactly. Which will be nice.
Yeah. And the multitasking that they are bringing to it, and the microphone switching, and all those things are cool features as well. Right now, it is limited to multitasking only with the built-in Oculus the 2D apps like Oculus TV, the browser, etc. So, but if and when they ever introduce the rumored Android apps compatibility, that'll open up a lot of options there. Have say a spreadsheet app here, a Word document app here, and a browser window over here, or a Discord over here.
I know.
Slack, or
It's interesting though. I'm just wondering because I keep reading that they're developing their own They're moving. They don't want to be an Android device anymore.
Right.
So
I can understand that. I mean, Android's got some limitations. It's a great operating system, but it's got some limitations as well.
Right.
So, I can understand that.
But yeah, I do also. But the whole point is, at that point would be the time to start introducing some of these new ideas, as opposed to now to the older system. So
right. Well, they also probably want to maximize the use of the older systems as much as possible before moving to the newer system, because they know that, or they have to know that when they move to a Facebook OS, a lot of people are probably going to be unwilling to go to the Facebook OS, and they'd rather stick with their obsolete Quest 2. So, if they make it as useful as possible to them before, then they still should keep them, as the quasi customers, So
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, this year we're not going to see too much development in the VR world. I think it's all going to start coming down around either the end of this year or really first quarter next year, depending on components and things. But they're already pushing the Quest 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's going to come at some point. Yep. Moving on, because we are running short on time now. Sorry. I ran across an article talking about the Chopin, or Chopin, maybe, like Chopin, the composer, P95 pancake lens that got patented. This is being touted in the article as a breakthrough that could potentially lead to smaller and lighter headsets. There are some issues that need to be overcome, like a pancake lens has issues with brightness and saturation, requiring excuse me, greater battery use on the screen to overcome that. But if they can come up with a good compromise there, it could result in a smaller and lighter headset that's just as good. What the problem is a regular Fresnel lens is really thick, right? Mm-hmm. And it has to, like, here's the screen, here's the Fresnel lens, and like here are the eyes. See how they're a lot closer than the screen is. The Fresnel lens has to be so far enough away that it can see all of the screen,
right?
And have it all to go into it. A pancake lens can be, here's the screen, here's the lens, a lot closer, because it goes up a lot higher and it's curved in a way so that and the two lenses pancaked together, so that the light coming off of here, so going that way, gets refracted out, going back down that way, so towards the eye, so it can result in more compact housing, resulting in lighter housing.
Right.
So
it's also another form of Z-wave lighting that they're trying to Z-wave light that they're trying to get. So this is what they're all working on: is getting those lenses thinner, getting them closer up to the projection plate, and even as far as sending it into your retina, if they can do that.
Right.
So it's like okay.
Right. But who knows if or when it'll actually come to reality. They're supposedly working with one unnamed partner to test or to get it into a real device or whatever. So, anyway, speaking of the military and their use of AR, Red 6 has raised $30 million to provide an in-flight AR pilot training system. So they're wearing their flight helmet that has AR built into it, so they can see virtual enemies and the targets in front of them, and do the training exercises with only them and that plane, saving a lot of money because you don't have to deploy 5 airplanes just to train one pilot. Now you can just deploy 5 airplanes and train 5 pilots.
Exactly.
So,
yeah,
and they are experiencing the real G forces and the real piloting efforts, and
between AR and VR, we're pushing the boundaries. We've probably advanced learning by about 20 years.
Probably. The one potential concern I've got about AR for combat pilots, you better hope that it's not hackable.
Well, now we're getting into everything. I mean, seriously, the entire world is hackable at this point. So, I mean, if your Tesla is hackable, how is your rocket not going to be?
So can you imagine the pilots relying on the AR stuff, and then someone hacks into it and says, "That's an enemy target," when really it's not.
Yeah, I can. It's
But also, speaking of flying and things that aren't there but really are there and whatnot, Flight Sim got the Nordics update, which lets you fly over and see the Lego house, as well as Norway and all the Iceland areas.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Onward released 1.8.8, the next patch, which brings things like mag flipping. So you can eject, or how it worked before is you eject the magazine, and no matter how you're moving the gun, it just went straight down. Now, if I go like that as I'm ejecting it, the magazine goes and flies off to the side. So a little bit more realism there and coolness factor, because it's always cooler to go than, you know.
I've always felt so. Yes, that's the coolest way.
Yes, and it brought audio updates, so the gun sounds are louder and more realistic to the kind of gun that they are, and a whole bunch of other improvements. And I think it was like 100 bugs fixed or something like that. So
wow,
yeah, it was a pretty big update. So, and that brings us to 1.5 minutes past the 1 hour mark.
Wow, this might be the shortest show on record.
So, if you made it this far, thank you for bearing with our insanity, and please accept our request to pass on the insanity by infecting those around you with our insanity, so that they can come and like and subscribe after you also like and subscribe and share.
This is the basis of our life. All right, it was just a plea, okay? It was just a plea.
We have kind of sad lives if that's the basis of our life.
Well, no, I mean, you caught a shark last night. Your life is good today.
True. I caught a over 1,000-pound tiger shark last night.
You're going to be eating good for at least.
I mean, no wonder my muscles are sore.
Ooh, of course. If I were you, I would go get into the tub now, man. It's soaked with some Epsom salts.
Yes. Let me just hop in VR chat and go into the hot tub.
Oh, God. Just watch out for the commercials on your way to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in VR chat, it fits in, and they've worked it in so that they actually have worlds that are directly run by actual.
Right. And it's a free program. It's a free program. So that, once again, what we're saying is there's no problem doing capitalism inside of a free program that the capitalists are paying for. We're saying don't charge the proletariat to pay to watch the commercial.
Right. So, yeah, I have no problem with it being done. If it's done right, it remains to be seen fully. I mean, it's kind of a rocky start.
Oh, yeah, just ask Resolution Games. I'm pretty sure they took the phones off the hook for the weekend and they're just gone.
Probably. Just in the hot tubs.
Oh man, they're right now. They just got a monkey answering the ads, pushing them. Sorry.
So, anyways, so thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Have fun.
Bye.